Choose Hope, Breaking the Cycle of Domestic Violence Together, is sponsored by Bath & Body Works, Grange Insurance, and Worthington Industries.
Hello, friends. I'm 10TV's Angela Ann. As you know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is a time for us to highlight this ongoing crisis facing families. But it's also a time to celebrate the bravery and resilience of those who have been able to stop the cycle of abuse. Tonight, you will hear stories of hope and healing. Ellis's Choices is the only domestic violence shelter in Franklin County. It is a safe haven that is successful thanks in large part to its generous donors like you. Please welcome Sue Valillo from Ellis's Choices to share how they provide survivors help and hope.
Choices provide services for victims of domestic violence who are fleeing their home because of the violence in their home or are currently experiencing violence and need assistance to determine what their next steps are going to be. Domestic violence is really at the core about power and control, and violence is just one tactic abusers use to control their victim. There are many other types of power and control: financial abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and we see the entire gamut of those things for victims that are coming into Choices for assistance. When people come to Choices Shelter, they're able to work with the case manager, with a crisis clinician to help work through the trauma that they've experienced. We have a kennel, so people who are fleeing their home are able to bring that family pet with them in order for the pet to be safe as well. Withholding food, both from the victim and the children, is another tactic that abusers may use to gain some control over the victim. So that is something that we really emphasize here in the shelter. We leave food out at all times so victims know that there's no scarcity, that they and their children are always able to find something to eat. Choices operates a crisis hotline that is available 24 hours a day, every day of the year. It is answered by trained advocates who are able to do some short-term safety planning with them so that we can ensure some immediate safety for the victim and the family, but then also to make some longer-term plans with them. What services do they need, not just from Choices, but from other community-based organizations, and we can make those linkages right at that first phone call. Our Choices Shelter has been operating at or above capacity for nearly a year. We're here to meet this increasing need in our community, but we can't do it alone. We need your help. Go to lssnetworkofhope.org/choose hope. Worthington Industries will match every gift made right now up to $10,000. Now we'll hear from two brave survivors, Maria and Naomi, as they share their stories of hope.
My ex-husband that time, very drunk, and treat me very bad. So my concern for my daughter, I trying to get help. We go to fire station near my house, and they trying to get help for me.
I got into a domestic violence situation. It was emotional, it was a little physical, and I was scared.
My ex brought me to America, yeah. And he know I have no family here, so he treat me whatever he want. One day he taking all the stuff, my phone, my computer, my laptop, my credit card, until I get help from the police.
I didn't really have anywhere to go with the kids, with my daughters and me. So I had remember that a lady had gave me a card, or she gave me the number to LSS Choices.
So I need to protect my baby. When I trying to take my baby back, he choking me in the back until I cannot breathe.
I was nervous, very nervous. I didn't know what to expect. They asked me why I was calling and what was going on, and if they could, if they could be of help to me and my girls.
I'm trying to explain what happened, and they, okay, you can come, and the police took me there. They said they will have a place for me, at least for taking care of the baby, and they will provide you with everything you need, so you just come and they will trying to help you.
The last 11 years of my life was with my kids, with their father. So then it was just like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now?
I don't have family. I don't have anybody here. Where I need to go. But Choices help me.
I brought the few things that I need to bring, like the documents of like birth certificates, social security cards. I brought like overnight like stay-up clothes.
They trying to help me with everything I need. How they treat us is very nice, and they taking care for my baby needs there. So I feel okay. Thank you, God.
We can't be on the streets. I can't. Just people living their own lives. They can't help us. Like I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna get us through this. So just kind of started my journey from there.
You will have hope if you go to Choices.
Maria and Naomi are not alone, and we'll hear more from them later. Now I want to introduce you to Lillian and Brittany, two LSS Choices staff who help support survivors of domestic violence.
My name is Lillian Howard, and I'm the Director of Clinical and Supportive Services here at LSS Choices. We've been here for well over 40 years providing domestic violence services, and we are a service that is certainly needed. Our phones don't stop ringing. People don't stop calling us. Violence is something that's on the rise in our community. Domestic violence is certainly on the rise in our community, and we are a vital service here for assisting individuals or survivors who are still living in the community, as well as those folks that are in need of protection and a safe shelter service.
My name is Brittany Patrick. I work here as a shelter advocate. What I try to do over the phone is try not to re-traumatize them more, because the questions that I'm asking, I'm basically asking them to relive their trauma, and that can stir up more emotions for them. So I always have to keep that in mind. Sometimes we'll have a friend that's calling in for someone that they know that's going through domestic violence, and we just encourage them to have their friend call so that way we can get more information about what's going on. Most of the time, they will want to speak and get shelter or even counseling. Here and there, sometimes we'll have someone that doesn't want to speak, but that's not all the time. If they're just calling in for themselves on a hotline, then we'll either lift them here, so get them transportation here, or they already have transportation.
Survivors who are fleeing their abuser and who are at risk of being killed or harmed by their abuser are never turned away from our shelter. We will find a space for them no matter what.
You can help victims of domestic violence right now. Go to lssnetworkofhope.org/ChooseHope. Just $60 provides a night of safe shelter, nourishing meals, counseling, and more. Your gift tonight of any amount will make a big difference.
Coming up, you will see how the services offered by LSS Choices change lives, and we'll check in with Maria and Naomi about their time at the shelter.
I'm Priscilla Hammonds with Grange Insurance. 1 in 3 women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime, and more than 15 million children witness violence in their home annually. These kids grow up thinking that violence and abuse is normal, continuing the cycle. LSS Choices is working hard to break that cycle. Visit lssnetworkofhope.org/ChooseHope. Let's do the right thing and break the cycle of family violence.
Amy and I are proud to support LSS Choices in its efforts to end domestic violence in Franklin County. For 65 years, Worthington Industries has followed a philosophy that's rooted in the Golden Rule: treat others as we want to be treated, with dignity and respect. That's how Choices helps domestic violence victims become survivors, with dignity and respect.
Choose hope and support LSS Choices.
1 in 3 women in our country have experienced rape, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. There are victims and survivors of domestic violence all around you, in your workplace, neighborhood, perhaps even your family. Choose hope and support LSS Choices.
Welcome back. Domestic violence is a traumatic experience. At Choices, many things need to happen to help a victim become a survivor and return to a stable life. Here's Maria and Naomi again to share their experiences at LSS Choices.
Here, I am like a new person in America. I don't know how about the law, so Choices helped me with legal aid, my divorce case, and then custody for my kids. Choices also helped me to get a protection order at that time. So Choices helped me with the apartment. They helped me for 1, 2, 3, 6 months until I can get in my feet.
So I already had a job, so that was a good thing because obviously things don't stop getting paid. When we got here, I remember my daughter I was saying like, hey guys, we gotta go to the shelter. And she was like, Mom, why you keep calling it that? And I said, well, that's where we are. And she was like, well, I'd rather you say like our home. I had to explain to them this is only temporary.
I'm trying to figure out where I'm working and what apartment around there, and we can afford with what the budget I make. And Choices help me with how to budgeting from your pay stuff and everything.
Basically, I went to my caseworker and I told her my plan, and we kind of sat down and she asked me what was I trying to move into, and I said, I mean, something decent, but I was like, for the kids that I have, I want to try to venture out and try to find a house. While I was here, I just started like looking for places and kind of updating her with that, and she had any information. We kind of go back and forth, and they're giving me that push that I needed and the help that I needed to start my life back over, not for me to stay here and to be here for months and months to come.
When I left Choices, I have a confidence I can back to my feet.
As you can imagine, counseling for survivors of domestic violence can be very important. Let's hear from Amanda, an LSS Choices counselor, about what that means.
There are so many things that counseling is important for. After leaving an abusive relationship, people spend so much of their time trying to walk on eggshells and avoid triggering their abuser that they lose who they are at their core. We all kind of work in the same mindset of just empowering and educating and making sure that people understand that what they're going through isn't out of the norm. It's an emotional job. It can be a very draining job, but it's also the most rewarding thing that I could ever imagine doing as a career. So I found a passion for working with victims and survivors of domestic violence very early in my education. For some clients, it is just a very short term. They need a little bit of support to get through what they're going through right now. And then for other clients, it is a little more long term, where the effects of their abuse on the self-esteem and things like that are a little bit more long-lasting. Choices services are available to anyone who needs them. So whether you need shelter or counseling, or if you just need someone to support you through finding housing, that's what we are here for. Seeing people have those empowered moments where they start to realize that they really are truly in control of their life and what happens, there's just nothing that compares.
Tonight we have a special opportunity for you to help victims of domestic violence. Worthington Industries will match every gift made right now up to $10,000. Go to lssnetworkofhope.org/choose hope. When you make a donation, here are some of the ways your gift will help. $25 provides snacks for all children in the shelter for a day. $60 provides a night of shelter and supportive services for a victim. $100 helps take care of a pet for 1 week. And $500 provides safe shelter, nourishing meals, and healing care for a family of 4 for 2 nights.
When we return, you will see the heartwarming way LSS Choices supports children inside the shelter. But first, we'll learn about COVID-19's impact on domestic violence.
Domestic violence takes many forms: bruises and battering, humiliation and control, isolation, and sadly, even death. Here in Franklin County, you can get help by reaching out to the LSS Choices 24-hour hotline at 614-224-4663.
The good in our community is diminished when anyone is a victim of domestic violence. LSS Choices provides a safe haven shelter for victims fleeing their abuser. As a member of the Choices Advisory Board, I know the need is growing. Choices also offers counseling and peer support groups that offer hope for a better future.
Help victims and their families start down a new path, free from fear. Choose hope. Support LSS Choices.
The statistics are startling. Every 9 seconds, a woman is abused. Every day, 3 women are killed by husbands or boyfriends. Every year, more victims ask for help. Domestic violence can happen to anyone of any race, age, sexual orientation, gender, or zip code. That's why Bath & Body Works is proud to partner with LSS Choices to make a meaningful difference in our community by supporting victims. Let's break the cycle of violence together. Visit lssnetworkofhope.org/choosehope.
LSS Choices helps victims of domestic violence and their children by encouraging them to call the Choices Hotline 24/7. Support Franklin County victims and choose hope.
Throughout the pandemic, Choices maintained all of its services. We continue to bring people into shelter, to shelter people safely in a congregate living situation, and to provide our community-based services. So starting in March of 2020 with the stay-at-home orders, we knew victims were sheltering with the abuser, and that because of the stay-at-home orders, they either couldn't or were more afraid to reach out for the assistance that they needed. And because domestic violence is a cycle, we saw the violence escalate as the cycle continued. And over time, we saw victims seeking services who had experienced much more violence. They're much more physically injured, and with that comes more emotional trauma, more fear, more unpredictability about the situation that they've been living in.
Sue, thank you. That is much needed insight. Well, many survivors of domestic violence bring their children with them when they leave an abusive and dangerous situation. Let's hear again from Maria and Naomi about life in the shelter with their kids and the surprising bonds made with strangers through shared experiences.
Without Choices, maybe I don't know where I need to go, and then how I can get help taking care of my daughter.
I didn't have to worry about sharing a room with another resident. I was happy that me and my kids were able just to be in a room by ourselves, and it was just us.
At the Choices, I found a lot of people with the same situation, and we make a friend. We're trying to support one and each other, so we not feel alone. We have somebody, we have friend there.
I met a really, really nice female here. She has, I want to say maybe 5 kids or 6 kids. My kids kind of like latched onto her kids, and her kids kind of latched onto my kids, and we just were there for each other as far as just, just talking about our days and what we plan on doing and what we applied for and stuff like that, and it helped. We're all here for the same reason, and we're trying to, pick up our lives again. I definitely liked it here. Well, when I got here, I realized that they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I got to work with Miss Sam and Miss Nicole. Very, very lovely ladies. Appreciated them. My daughter, she had to get surgery, and they kept, I ended up buying popsicles for her. That's how she could eat until she healed. And they kept it in her freezer, and they, were just very nice to me and my girls. And I just enjoyed, being here as far as just being here and being able to be safe.
For anybody out there who feel like you don't have something to helping you, Choices can be your choice, because they will help you from zero until you can get in your feet.
I want to introduce you now to Elle and Sam, who work hard to make sure life for survivors and their families at Choices stays positive day to day.
When children are in shelter, they face a number of barriers to accessing education in an equitable way, and that can involve things like not coming in with school supplies because an abuser took those school supplies, or their parent was not able to take them with them when they had to leave.
One form of trauma that we often see within the kitchen is that an abuser has withheld food from that client, so we want to make sure that there's always fruit and drinks available on the counter.
A lot of our events and the playroom in shelter are there for kids to have a kind of a place to get away and not have to focus on, some of the trauma that they've experienced, and just to get to be kids.
The biggest thing that we try to make sure is that everybody feels like they're at home. So we do have a lot of people that are from different cultures. So every night we do an international dish, which is just something that makes them all feel better, feel like they're at home as well.
With a single parent, they don't always have as much time to work with the students. They have to meet with their case managers, they have to meet with other staff here. And one thing that was really nice about the Study Buddy program was that it helped to give those parents an additional resource of a volunteer that was able to come in and work with their kids on homework and give those parents the free time to not only take care of themselves but also focus on getting out of here. So it's very important for Choices to be able to offer these services to victims and their children.
Volunteers are extremely important to this organization. It often makes our meals go smoother, as well as residents love seeing extra people that they know they care about them as well.
Choices relies on the generosity of people just like you to help victims of domestic violence. Your gift tonight means safe shelter, nourishing meals, counseling services, and even a safe place for the family pet. Your donation tonight will be matched up to $10,000 thanks to our generous partner, Worthington Industries.
Coming up, Maria and Naomi will show us how they are doing today, and Sue will be back with final thoughts.
Domestic violence takes many forms: bruises and battering, humiliation and control, isolation, and sadly, even death. Here in Franklin County, you can get help by reaching out to the LSS Choices 24-hour hotline at 614-224-4663.
The statistics are startling. Every 9 seconds, a woman is abused. Every day, 3 women are killed by husbands or boyfriends. Every year, more victims ask for help. Domestic violence can happen to anyone of any race, age, sexual orientation, gender, or zip code. That's why Bath & Body Works is proud to partner with LSS Choices to make a meaningful difference in our community by supporting victims. Let's break the cycle of violence together. Visit lssnetworkofhope.org/choosehope.
I'm Priscilla Hammonds with Grange Insurance. 1 in 3 women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime, and more than 15 million children witness violence in their home annually. These kids grow up thinking that violence and abuse is normal, continuing the cycle. LSS Choices is working hard to break that cycle. Visit lssnetworkofhope.org/choosehope. Let's do the right thing and break the cycle of family violence.
Hey folks, Council President Harden. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. There are victims and there are survivors of domestic violence all around us, in our workplace, in our neighborhoods, and perhaps even in our extended families. Lutheran Social Services Choices helps victims of domestic violence and their children by providing them a safe place to go and the support that they need. If you are in need of help here in Franklin County, you can get help by reaching out to the 24-hour Choices hotline at 614-224-4663.
Before we leave you tonight, we want everyone watching to know there is hope and help out there, because we know leaving the cycle of abuse is the first step. Going to an actual shelter for help can be another important decision in a domestic violence survivor's journey. Here again are Maria and Naomi with how life is like today after leaving Choices to start anew.
So after a couple of years, I get remarried with the new family right now. I have 3 kids. So my daughter have 1 sister and 1 brother. So yeah, my plan for the future is raise my kids, make a good family for all. Yeah.
We are still living in the house, and I still work. I take care of them, and the kids enjoy it. So I'm happy. I mean, I'm just rebuilding my life and just, looking at what's important. And my kids are what's important. They're the one that's why I work, and that's why I'm here, is just to take care of my girls, make sure that they're okay, and to try to live a happy life.
I encourage people who don't know Choices right now. Choices help a lot of victims from the abuse, for the kids too. If you can help with anything, you can help a lot of people who need that.
If I was talking to someone in that situation, I would tell them to call LSS Choices. For one, you don't have to be in a situation like that. You always can leave. I know at first, it can be scary because I was scared, or, if you don't want to leave, you don't want to leave the person, you don't think you can leave, you're scared to leave, any of that. But I would tell her, call. You have to call. They will help you, and you'll be in a much better situation than what you think or than where you are at that time. You don't have to go through that.
Because Choices was there, I get help and support me until I can get in my life.
Thank you to everyone at LSS Choices that ever came in contact with me and my girls, that ever helped us get to where we are, because I just don't think I would be where I am. And I'm so grateful. So grateful that I had a caring counselor that had people look out for me while I was here, that helped me. I know I helped myself too, but still, LSS Choices helped as well. So I really appreciate it, and thank you so much. I appreciate it.
If you've already made your gift tonight, thank you. If not, there's still time. Go to lssnetworkofhope.org/choose hope. Your compassion and generosity will bring hope to those in our community who are experiencing domestic violence. Thank you for choosing hope by making your gift right now. Before we go, I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Our Choose Hope Peace sponsors are Bath & Body Works, Grange Insurance, and Worthington Industries. Our Freedom sponsors are Alliance Data, Big Lots Foundation, Bob Evans Farms, Huntington, Nationwide, and Scott's Miracle-Gro. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We appreciate their support and are so grateful they joined us to choose hope.
Maria, Naomi, thank you for showing us the light after the darkness of domestic violence. And thank you all at home for joining us. If you are in need of help or know someone who is, please call the crisis hotline 614-224-4663 and seek help. Together, we can stop the cycle of abuse, and the choice to act is now. On behalf of 10 TV and everyone at LSS Choices, good night.
Choose Hope, Breaking the Cycle of Domestic Violence Together, is sponsored by Bath & Body Works, Grange Insurance, and Worthington Industries.